Fiction Friday, and that means it's time for the next part of Chapter 1 in Lad, a Dog by Albert Payson Terhune. In the last part, a new dog called Knave came to the place to live with Lad and Lady and their masters for a short time. Lady took a great liking to him, much to Lad's distress. Then Lady got her paw caught in a trap in the woods. She is recovering, but still sore. So let's see what happens next. It was on one pantingly hot August morning, a little later, that Lady limped into the house in search of a cool spot where she might lie and lick her throbbing forefoot. Lad was lying, as usual, under the piano in the living room. His tail thumped shy welcome on the hardwood floor as she passed, but she would not stay or so much as notice him. On she limped, into the master's study, where an open window sent a faint breeze through the house. Giving the stuffed eagle a wide berth, Lady hobbled to the window and made as though to lie down just beneath it. As she did so, two things happened. She leaned too much weight on the sore foot, and the pressure wrung from her an involuntary yelp of pain. At the same moment, a cross current of air from the other side of the house swept through the living room and blew shut the door of the adjoining study. Lady was a prisoner. Ordinarily, this would have caused her no ill ease, for the open window was only 30 inches above the floor, and the drop to the veranda outside was a bare 3 feet. It would have been the simplest matter in the world for her to jump out, had she wearied of her chance captivity. But to undertake the jump with the prospect of landing her full weight and impetus on a forepaw that was horribly sensitive to the lightest touch, this was an exploit beyond the sufferer's willpower. So Lady resigned herself to imprisonment. She curled herself up on the floor as far as possible from the eagle, moaned softly, and lay still. At the sound of her first yelp, Lad had run forward, whining eager sympathy, but the closed door blocked his way. He crouched, wretched, and anxious before it, helpless to go to his loved one's assistance. Knave, too, loping back from a solitary prowl of the woods, seeking Lady, heard the yelp. His prick ears located the sound at once. Along the veranda he trotted to the open study window. With a bound, he cleared the sill and alighted inside the room. It chanced to be his first visit to the study. The door was usually kept shut, that drafts might not blow the master's desk papers about, and Knave felt, at best, little interest in exploring the interior of houses. He was an outdoor dog, by choice. He advanced now toward Lady, his tail a wag, his head on one side, with his most irresistible air. Then he came forward into the room. He saw the eagle. He halted in wonder at the sight of the enormous white-crested bird with its 6-foot sweep of pinion. It was a wholly novel spectacle to Knave, and he greeted it with a gruff bark, half of fear, half of bravado. Quickly, however, his sense of smell told him that this wide-winged apparition was no living thing, and ashamed of his momentary cowardice, he went over to investigate it. As he went, Knave cast over his shoulder a look of invitation to Lady to join him in his inspection. She understood the invitation, but memory of that puppyhood beating made her recoil from accepting it. Knave saw her shrink back, and he realized with a thrill that she was actually afraid of this lifeless thing which could harm no one. With due pride in showing off his own heroism before her, and with the scamp dog's innate craving to destroy, he sprang growling upon the eagle. Down tumbled the papier-mâché stump. Down crashed the huge stuffed bird with it, Knave's white teeth buried in the soft feathers of its breast. Lady, horror-struck at the sacrilege, whimpered in terror, but her plaint served only to increase Knave's zest for destruction. He hurled the bird onto the floor, pinned it down with his feet, and at once he jerked toward the right wing from the body. Coughing out the mouthful of dusty pinions, he dug his teeth into the eagle's throat. Again bracing himself with his forepaws on the carcass, he gave a sharp tug. Head and neck came away in his mouth, and then before he could drop the mouthful and return to the work of demolition, he heard the master's step. All at once, Knave proved he was less ignorant of the law, or at least of its penalties, than might have been supposed from his act of vandalism. In sudden panic, he bolted for the window, the silvery head of the eagle still unheeded between his jaws. With a vaulting spring, he shot out through the open casement, in his reckless eagerness to escape, knocking against Lady's injured leg as he passed. He did not pause at Lady's scream of pain, nor did he stop until he reached the chicken house. Crawling under this, he deposited the incriminating eagle head in the dark recess. Finding no pursuer, he emerged and jogged innocently back toward the veranda. The master, entering the house and walking across the living room toward the stairs, heard Lady's cry. He looked around for her, recognizing from the sound that she must be in distress. His eye fell on Lad, crouching tense and eager in front of the shut study door. The master opened the door and went into the study. At the first step inside the room, he stopped, aghast. There lay the chewed and battered fragments of his beloved eagle, and there, in one corner, frightened, with guilt writ plain all over her, cowered Lady. Men have been legally done to death on far lighter evidence than encompassed her. The master was thunderstruck. For more than 2 years, Lady had had the free run of the house, and this was her first sin. At that, a sin unworthy any well-bred dog that had graduated from puppyhood and from milk teeth. He would not have believed it. He could not have believed it. Yet here was the hideous evidence, scattered all over the floor. The door was shut, but the window stood wide. Through the window, doubtless, she had gotten into the room, and he had surprised her at her vandal work before she could escape by the same opening. The master was a just man, as humans go, but this was a crime the most maudlin dog spoiler could not have condoned. The eagle, moreover, had been the pride of his heart, as perhaps I have said. Without a word, he walked to the wall and took down a braided dog whip, dust-covered from long disuse. Lady knew what was coming. Being a thoroughbred, she did not try to run, nor did she roll for mercy. She cowered, moveless, nose to floor, awaiting her doom. Back swished the lash. Down it came, whistling, as a man whistles whose teeth are broken. Across Lady's slender flanks it smote, with the full force of a strong driving arm. Lady quivered all over, but she made no sound. She who would whimper at a chance touch to her sore foot was mute under human punishment. Wow, friends, can you believe that Knave let Lady take the blame for him? He's such a scoundrel. First he left her in the clearing with her paw in a trap, and now this. I don't like him very much. And poor Lady, getting punished for something she didn't do just because she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I hope we find out what happens next week and all will be set right. So join me next week to find out what happens next with Lad, Lady, and Knave. And be sure to come back on Monday for a very special Music Monday song. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Bye.